Hey guys, I'm back. Thank you for joining me once again. It's been a little while since I filmed, so I thought a good way to jump back into it would just be a casual orchid collection update. I thought I'd just jump on here and show you some stuff that's in bloom, catch up with you guys. Also, let me know if you guys have any requests for video ideas. I do have some stuff planned, but I could always use some suggestions, so I would appreciate that if you'd leave me some feedback down below in the comments. Before we go check out some orchids, I did some rearranging of my reptile room. I feel a bit more confident showing it off now. We can just say hi to a couple of my reptiles real quick if you guys are interested, so let's check them out. All right, here is one corner of my reptile room. I set up that shelf and kind of organized everything. Beforehand, these tanks were sort of all spread out and a lot of them were on the floor. Now everything's sort of consolidated and easier to get to. Over here, I also have 3 more tanks as well. I'm not going to go through all the tanks right now. Most of them don't really look that great and they need some remodeling. So that's going to be some content for a future video. All my vivariums are planted with like live plants and stuff. So they're really cool, interesting mini little ecosystems in there. I even add invertebrates, small insect type creatures that sort of help regulate the environment and break down waste and stuff. So there's actually a lot to setting up one of those tanks, and it's really interesting. I'd love to share that with you guys if you are interested, but that'll be a topic for a future video. But for now, I'm just going to give you a quick peek. This is my bearded dragon. His name's Toothless. He is very sweet. Right now he's a little sleepy and grumpy. It's time for his lights to go off so he can go to sleep. Up top here, he's right in my face, so we might as well show him off. He looks like he wants some attention. Sorry, it's kind of dim up here. His tank isn't lit up at the moment. This is one of my crested geckos. I have several. His name is Chomper because he's a vicious beast. See, I'll show you why his name's Chomper. He just thinks everything is food. He's got a great feeding response. He's always hungry. He gets very excited when he thinks you're feeding him, so his cage needs to be cleaned pretty bad. But he's happy. He's a happy boy. Look how freaking cute he is. I love his face. I won't spend too much time on this. Down there is my python, who I love very much. I guess I gotta show you guys Prometheus. Prometheus is my veiled chameleon. He's actually very docile and social. Chameleons can go either way. Sometimes they're kind of jerks, but usually they're pretty good. And Prometheus is a good boy. It is also a little bit late in the day for him. Right now he doesn't look that great. He's going through a shed. Sometimes his colors are really bright and vibrant, typically like during the day when his temperatures are up and everything. Right now he looks a little drab. Also, he is a rescue, so he has some health problems. He didn't get the best nutrition and stuff when he was younger. They need a particular diet. He had some issues early on in his life, but we take good care of him and he's pretty happy, so we love him. That's a sneak peek of that for you guys. I hope you enjoyed, but let's go ahead and check out some orchids, and we'll talk more about these guys in a future video. Up first is my Zygonesia. I'm really impressed with this one. This is my first time reblooming it, and the flowers are so much bigger this time around. The flowers are like the size of the palm of my hand, which is really cool, and I got several spikes. There's 3 back there. This thing's got a really wild fragrance too. I love it so much. The lighting's really bad right now. It's a really pretty color, but it's kind of hard to show it off properly, but I love this thing. I love how leafy it is too. It's got really nice foliage. Very interesting. I couldn't get this to rebloom until I put it outside in like really bright light. I had Cattleyas sunburn outside when this one didn't sunburn at all, so it's really kind of crazy. These leaves, look how like tall and like erect they are, and they kind of are stiffer in substance than a typical like Zygopetalum. The Zygonesias tend to have these more like broad, kind of upright leaves with like a harder cuticle and stuff, which typically means an orchid can take more light when it's got thicker leaves like that. So it kind of makes sense, but I was really kind of surprised how much light this thing required to get it to rebloom so nicely. But once all the flowers open, I will probably do a spotlight and talk a little bit more about it in detail and give you some better footage of it. But I love this thing so much. This here is a little no ID complex hybrid fowl. It was sort of a rescue. Someone was throwing it away and I took it. Kind of boring looking, but I've said this before, but it's easy to kind of talk trash about these complex hybrid fowls, but they really do perform nicely. These flowers have been going strong for like months now. Now this here is my Cycnodes Wine Delight Gem, and I love this thing. I've complained about it before because it does take up a lot of space, gets spider mites all the time. If you have catasetums, pretty much just count on them getting spider mites. I manage them pretty well. It's kind of just a fact of life that spider mites pop up once in a while, so it's not a huge deal, but they seem to love this thing, and all catasetums in general. But I'm planning on doing a culture video specifically about catasetum culture. I've rebloomed quite a few of them a few years in a row now, and I feel like I'm pretty confident talking about the culture, but this thing's really pretty. I do love it despite how much space it takes up. This is my Bulbophyllum tingabarium. It was throwing out buds left and right, but the first round of them all blasted. But it has continued throwing out new spikes, and it looks like some of them are going to actually mature and bloom, so that's exciting. Right now the buds look kind of yellowish, but most of the pictures I've seen are more of like orange and reds, but there does seem to be a lot of variation with the color, so we'll see, but I'm very excited about that. This is another new addition. This is Angraecum leonis. I've been after one of these for a while, and I'm so happy to have it. They have such a cool growth habit. I love the leaves on these things. Here is my Cattleya chienia red apple. This is a really awesome Cattleya. Very easy growing, easy blooming. I'm excited this year because I got more flowers than I did last year. There's 3 buds, it seems, on each growth, whereas last year it was just 2 and 2. They're a really nice kind of like deep magenta color. I will definitely show that off once it flowers. Angraecum equitans, doing well. I actually got this because it looked so much like Angraecum leonis. I mean, I like this on its own right anyway, but I was in love with Angraecum leonis, and this one has a very similar looking bloom to it, so now I have both because I have a leonis. Down here is a Paphmodiae in bud. This is my first time reblooming this. It's like a just Paphmodiae green. It's a pretty like standard Modiae. It's nothing really too exotic, but I do really like it, and I'll definitely show you guys this one when it blooms. Here, this is my Pleurothallus restripioides dragonstone. For a while it wasn't doing much and I was getting a little nervous, but it's throwing out several new growths. There's 1, 2, and then there's a really low small one down there, so that's really cool. I love this thing and I hope it'll bloom for me one day. This is my Angraecum diederi, and it is in bud. The spikes are very slow developing on this Angraecum. A lot of Angraecums grow really slowly, but this one has a really torturous wait for the blooms, but it's worth it. It's a really nice Angraecum. I have a collection now of about 6 or 7 Angraecums maybe, and some Oranges as well. I might do a video specifically highlighting those and talking a bit about their culture and stuff, so let me know if you guys are interested in that. And then I have a couple things that were on the shelf, but they're kind of in the back, so I pulled them out so I can show them off a little bit better. This is a really cool cross. This is Cattleya gutata cerulean cross Cattleya Aclandiae cerulean. I'm so excited about this. With 2 cerulean parents though, I've heard that the cerulean trait can be quite recessive. So only a percentage of the siblings of this will carry like the full cerulean trait, but either way, I think the flowers are going to be really cool looking, so I'm pretty stoked about that. And I also have my first Rupiculus Laelia, which I'm also very excited about. This is L. Bridgeri cross Milleri. I'm a bit new to Rupiculus Laelias, but I've done quite a bit of research on them, and I'm super stoked. It's like, I think, a red crossed with a yellow, and I think one of the parents has been known to produce kind of like flared blooms, so that should be cool. Alright, I do have some cool stuff going on down here. Lots of catasetum spikes. This one is Acycnoches. I think it's Warsko-Vici cross in Katrinberger. It's one of those ones with like the nice broad yellow flowers that are non-resuppinant, and they have that really cool kind of shape to them. This bloomed really nicely for me last year, and I hope I get as nice of a display this year as I did last year. This is one of my favorites. This is my Millennium Magic Witchcraft. It had spider mites, and like I said, I usually deal with those pretty well. It seems fine. It didn't drop a single leaf or anything, but no flower spikes. I'm not sure what's gonna happen with this one, but I'm not gonna be sad if it skips a year. There's some phals down there. Up front here is a Masdevallia Viciana. I actually have a couple of this now. I'm really obsessed with Masdevallia Viciana, and there's a few different clones and varieties and whatnot, so I've started picking up a few different ones, and I actually have one more coming next week as well. I went a little nuts. This one is in spike. Hopefully that'll bloom nicely for us, and I can kind of compare the flowers to the other variety I have, so that's really cool. Here is another catasetum. This is all part of the same plant. It's got several growths on it, so it's quite bushy. But if we get underneath here, can you see the two spikes? I am super excited about this one. I have bloomed this before. A lot of the flowers came out like weird and mutated. I'm excited because although I bloomed this before, it kind of feels like the first time I'm blooming it, because this will be the first time I get a really nice display, and I have two spikes as well. Last year it was just one spike with only a couple flowers, so that one I'm super stoked for. The parents are Frilly Doris and Midnight Lace, which are two really cool ones. I'm really excited about that. Back there, this flower spike here, there it is. This is a nodosa cross. You can tell by those long, slender leaves. This is Cattleya schilleriana cross Brassivola nodosa. I have bloomed this before. It's a really nice one. Really cool flowers. Definitely a heavy influence from the nodosa, except it's got a really nice like purple veining on the lip and a really cool kind of minty fragrance. It's got two nice looking buds on it, so I'm excited for that. This new addition, this is Angraecum sesquipulade. I don't know why I have such a hard time saying that name. I don't know if I said that right, but it's Darwin's orchid, the one with the really cool star-shaped flowers. I've wanted one of these for a while, and I finally found a good deal on one. It's quite small, but that's okay, because I also have this beast. This is a bit different. This is Angraecum Lemford White Beauty, which actually has the sesquipulade as one of the parents, and the other parent is Magdalene. So it's a really gorgeous cross. I have seen pictures of the flowers on this online, and I just like fell in love. And then when I found this plant, I was just super excited because it's huge. It's not the best angle to show it off, but it's got several fans. It's got like 4 different growths on it. I could divide it if I wanted to, but I like really nice bushy leafy orchids. This thing's doing pretty well. They're kind of like a summer bloomer, so I was a little bummed out that it wasn't flowering. I thought I had kind of missed my chance, but the more I read about it, it seems that they bloom more in like late summer, early fall, so I don't think it's too late yet. I feel like I would have seen a sign of spikes by now if it was gonna flower, so I'm not gonna get my hopes up, but who knows? Maybe it'll still flower. This is my Masdevallia Red Shine Sheila. It had a nice big flower spike with a couple blooms on it, and I finally cut the spike off because it was fading. It's still gorgeous. Again, I love really nice leafy orchids. I love this thing. Last but not least is my Frag Incan Treasure. This is a somewhat new acquisition. I've had it for a couple weeks now. It's in bud, and I am so excited for this thing to bloom. This is my first frag. I will definitely be showing you some detailed footage of it once it does bloom. Frag Incan Treasure is a really special frag, and the flowers are so cool looking. Alright guys, that's it for now, but I have some cool stuff planned for some future videos, so stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys would like this video and subscribe to my channel, it would help me out a lot. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.